So I suppose I joined scouting as a Cub Scout, like a lot of folks do. It's funny, for me, I think the selling point was the uniforms that I would see all my friends wearing in elementary school. I wanted to be one of those cool guys in the blue shirts, not realizing, of course, just where that would take me. The Order of the Arrow was such a unique opportunity. Going through the ordeal that weekend, and really, I think the ceremonial portions where the principals emphasized, these notions of service, and just having the opportunity, I guess, to learn more about that through the years within the Order of the Arrow, I think has been a very rewarding experience. The most impactful experience, probably my first NOAC in 2009. I was on the Service Corps staff. They called it the Chiefs Corps back then. I don't know. That was that was my first conference, my first real large-scale scouting experience, and sitting through some of those shows and feeling, I think, the energy of 6,500 people in that stadium, I think was what really, I think, sold me on the Order of the Arrow, and I think crystallized within me that this was really an organization that I wanted to really have an opportunity to be a part of and take ownership of. So leading up to that, I was a section chief, and before that I was a lodge chief. So I had the opportunity, I think, to see how the Order of the Arrow worked at a local level. And I feel like a lot of those experiences informed my interest in running for national office. How can I, as an officer, support those individuals who are, ultimately out there in the field, who represent the heart and soul of this program? So that's kind of the mentality that I had, as I was thinking about what did I want my impact to be as a national officer. In 2012 we had another conference, and thinking back to my own conference experience in 2009 and realizing and remembering what a special week that was for me. I was excited, I guess, the bottom line, I was excited to have the opportunity to shape that event and to shape that opportunity and that experience for 7,000 other airmen from across the country. So that was a great time, and I wish I could go back to relive that week, because it was one heck of a party, I'll tell you that. Well, I'd say primarily scouting has given me, I think, a set of tools and skills that I can use in a variety of settings. I think it's made me a versatile individual. And I'd also like to attribute, the development of my own public speaking skills to having the opportunity to, have leadership positions within scouting. I think we're looking at a set of skills that innately allow individuals to succeed, whether they're in the backcountry or in a corporate boardroom, right? And this is how to form teams, how to take responsibility for yourself and for others, right? How to engage in new situations and ultimately succeed, right? I would say that sort of mentality is something that I developed in scouting, and it's something that I believe is going to ultimately help me thrive, I think, in the real world. We've got over 170,000 members of this organization, and ultimately, I think all of them, if not a majority of them, are deeply passionate and involved and ready to engage in what the Order of the Arrow is meant to do. So what advice would I give to a young scout, perhaps a tenderfoot or someone who's new to the program? Well, primarily I'd say to stick with it, right? Because I think as we get older, there are so many other competing demands for our time that it can be tough to set aside availability for scouting or for a whole bunch of different things. But I would say this, scouting, I think, has ultimately been one of the best investments of my time, of my resources, that I could have made as a young individual. And I'm thankful every day for the rewards, the benefits that this program has given to me. And I would hope that I could ultimately contribute and help others have that opportunity in the future. But for those who are just joining, it seems like a long road, but it's ultimately a long, fun, enjoyable, rewarding road. And I promise that You might not enjoy every step of the way, but when you get to the end and you look back, you're going to realize just how much of a positive experience this has, and what a positive factor this will be in your entire life. So stick with it, and I promise it's something that you won't regret.